Our next speaker will be Laurens Schumacher from AI Products Lead at Deloitte. We met this morning. Nice chatting to you. And you're going to be talking about AI for animals. Okay, off you go. Good luck.
Thank you. Hi guys. I'm Laurens. I'm an AR product lead at Deloitte, which I understand is a random company to be here, but hopefully you'll understand after the presentation why I'm here. I also know nothing about fish. The extent of my fish knowledge is what I learned when I had a goldfish when I was 8, which is don't overfeed them. But what I do want to give you is some insight in a similar welfare-related project. So I'm the product owner of a tool called AR for Animals, where we strive to reduce unnecessary animal suffering in slaughterhouses, specifically what the industry calls red meat. We call them cows and pigs. And I want to talk you through a little bit of that and the lessons that we learned along the way and how that can be applied to the fishing industry. This is how it started. This is 2019. What I like about this picture is everyone looks the same, but it's a very diverse group of people. So obviously you have the Deloitte tech nerds, you have some people from the industry, from a slaughterhouse, you have some people from the competent authority, you have some people from NGOs, animal welfare organizations. We all got together, wore the same outfit, and looked at how we can use AI and these innovative technologies to actually reduce animal suffering at a somewhat large scale. And when we say large scale, for pigs and cows, we're looking at around 2 million animals a month, which in that industry is quite big. That's over 90% of the Dutch pig industry, a large part of the UK industry as well. But when you look at fish, 2 million is nothing, as you guys know. So what do? I'm going to keep it very short. But what we do is we detect animals, people, objects, how they interact with each other. We then link them to movement heat maps. We have business logic. So we basically check for predefined incident types that we want to see. And then we feed those back into a dashboard where you get an overview of all the incidents. And you can review them and see the trend reports within minutes. The problem with this, the problem it solves, is that a lot of these slaughterhouses already have cameras, which is different to fisher boats, I understand. But they produce hundreds of hours of video footage per day. And none of this get watched, because no one has time. People aren't that interested, so they sometimes watch 30 minutes of video footage. But you don't actually get a grasp of what actually is going on. So what generally happens is what you see at the top. So there's 30 minutes of video being watched, and maybe you catch one incident in a day. With the AI for Animals tool, you go to the bottom. So you still get 30 minutes of video footage, and this relates to Tom. Sorry to steal your limelight, but he'll talk about, with CatchCam, he'll talk about this, like how many screens they have and how little they can actually look at those screens. So what we do is we condense all those interesting incidents or animal handling, animal welfare deviation videos into the same 10 to 30 minutes, which means that instead of seeing less than 0.25%, you're actually seeing over 90% of all interesting video footage. To demonstrate this, I've got a short video, or I'll keep it short anyway. Is there audio? Bit behind.
Most of our pigs, they never go outside on some factory farms. They have nothing to do. They've got barely any space. They can't even move. Here on this farm, they're all raised outdoors. They get to wallow and forage. They get to behave like pigs.
In 2019, we had a brainstorm on how we can use AI technology to significantly reduce avoidable animal suffering. And a logical place to start were slaughterhouses, because they already have surveillance cameras. And we thought, why not use AI to make these traditional surveillance cameras into smart surveillance cameras?
When I first heard from Deloitte that they were interested in starting an artificial intelligence camera system for slaughterhouses, I thought, this is terrific. Finally, it's more than just small NGOs that want to make a real difference for farm animal welfare during slaughter.
We trained the algorithms from scratch. So we first had to teach the algorithms what is a pig, what is a person, what is a stunner, That was the technical part. That's what we do as Deloitte. Then there's a second part, and that's when is a risk situation in terms of animal welfare. And that's why we really work closely together with the Dierenbescherming, Eyes on Animals, and Vion. They were a big part of taking this from ideation to production in now over 20 slaughterhouses across multiple countries.
We produce pork meat and beef, and we export worldwide. We have several slaughter locations in the Netherlands, Belgium, and Germany. And more than 10 years ago, we installed already the cameras, and that resulted per day in hundreds of hours of footage. So we were looking at 30 minutes in total of footage. And because it was randomly, there was a big chance to miss relevant issues. And with the use of the AI, the footage is sent to the server. We train the algorithms to make a selection of footage of abnormalities, of deviations. Potential deviations are put in the dashboard. And the next day, my quality assurance colleagues, they see only relevant footage.
We've got quite a good rapport with several slaughterhouses that allow us to come in and also look at their images. And now I don't have to spend 20 hours looking at images. I can go there and just see what's been filtered out by the AI system and give my advice to the slaughterhouse.
If one animal of the group is behind, because it's curious, because it's lame, because it's stressed, the footage is selected. And we monitor if the way of working is according to procedures. People need to take care directly for that individual animal. By using the selected footage, we can also train the staff involved. When people see their own actions at the TV screen, they have a perfect reflection on their work. And they see, okay, now I know how to improve my way of working. When we roll it out in all the Dutch locations, we discovered that the use of the pedal, a riddling, a sound-making device, resulted in more bottlenecks. It's a moment of stress for the animals. We stopped using the pedal, and it resulted in less bottlenecks, but also the environment is way less noisy.
They've actually changed their ways of working, and we see the decrease in number of bottlenecks over a year that resulted in. We're already seeing the impact of AI being applied to animal welfare, and the potential of that, I think, is huge. Our AI platform is built on AWS, and we use their latest innovations to really shorten the time to production, which in the beginning of AI for Animals took us about a year, and now it's a question of weeks.
I strongly recommend other slaughter companies worldwide to also start using this system, because then you can learn from each other.
Again, very different from fish. And I think some of the stuff that was said might seem a little bit big brother to you, being out on a boat. So I just want to share with you some of the lessons that we've learned, and they apply to maybe some of your use cases, maybe not all of them, just to give you some inspiration. We've also been scientifically validated as a platform by the University of Utrecht, being seen as a valid solution for smart monitoring that has already led to protocol changes. As you can see, this is all focused on, and this is also how you know slaughterhouses is being portrayed negatively in the news for not following their own ways of working. For fisheries, it's very different, and we're looking at different challenges. But what we have learned is no beginning is too small, and I think we've seen great examples of that today. As consultants, we love saying, don't try and boil the ocean. In this case, that is quite applicable. We started at one single site, one single camera. Now, like I said, we're 2 million animals a month, 70 plus cameras across 8 countries. The second one I like, so start with those who want to change, and those who need to change will follow after. So start with the people that are motivated. Before you know it, you've moved the entire industry. Third one is very important. You can't play both sides of the coin. So we, with AI for Animals, specifically in the Netherlands, work only with the industry. So that means we get paid by the industry, we deliver value to the industry, and the data belongs to the industry. That means we don't share that data with the government, because we don't want to betray that trust that we build up with the industry. In other countries, we work closer with the government and less close directly with the industry. But I would urge you to always make that choice and think to yourself, am I working for the industry or am I working for the government? The fourth one's been mentioned a lot today already, and that's where the real business value lies. So you don't want to just bring in welfare to people working in fisheries either. You want to make sure that you bring bottom line value, and on top of that, animal welfare. Now, what we see a lot in slaughterhouses, which I'm sure we'll also see in fisheries, is sometimes you have incidents, for example, how fish are being handled with the gloves and scale damages there. Those could be incidents, they could be structural problems, but you have a real problem once it becomes culture. And that's what you're trying to prevent. So you try and get in early, make sure that those structural problems become incidents and don't become culture. That was what I wanted to share with you.